Welcome, everybody. This is Steve Cady here with our Management 3050 in the summer of 2015. It's a 6-week course, fast and furious. And what we're going to be doing tonight, this is our welcome and introduction to the course webinar, doing and overviewing the course and the structure of the course and those kinds of things. We have people in a chat room at www.tinyurl.com/Steve Cady webinar. And for our guests, we have Mitchell and Bailey. They're going to chat live with me while the rest of you in the chat room can pose questions or anything you want as I'm talking. I'm watching the chat room. Pose your questions as I'm talking, and I'll respond to them as we go. And Mitchell and Bailey, if you can watch your background noise and also mute yourself if you want in order to manage that. And so we're looking in here right now in the chat room, and I'm looking at some of the questions. And one says, with the condensed version of this class, do we need to plan working on class every day? Two things. One, right off the bat, the class is we're going to be covering 6 chapters. Typically, there are about 18 chapters. I have done some research on 12 of the best books and over 100-something courses to boil it down to the top 10, 11 chapters. And then I've boiled that down to 8. And with the 6 weeks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on going deep into the core 6 chapters over the next 6 weeks. So you really are getting a very focused set of chapters that are the core of principles of management. And with the 6 weeks, what I want you to go is deeper and into them. So you will be working a little bit every day, and some of you will be able to, do punctuated larger chunks of time to get it done. It's going to be very manageable, even though it's 6 weeks. Some of you may say, "Man, this is a lot. Man, this is too much," or something like that. Let me just reaffirm or remind you all that it's 6 weeks, and typically 16 weeks and 6 weeks should be incredibly full. And I'm working it out so that it's going to be a nice balance. And so it should still be a lot, but it's still very manageable within the framework that I'm laying it out for you. Second thing, let's see here. What would be the best way to study for tests? I'm going to cover this in a second, but you've got practice quizzes, and I break down each chapter into components. A chapter will have an opening introduction. It will have 2 to 4 competencies, and then it will wrap up with a closing. And in there will be content in each of the sections. And there will be a practice quiz for you to take in there to practice. And I would be studying the practice quizzes. And then on the exams, what I'm going to do, and it surprisingly has worked well. I would suspect that people would do super well because of this feature. And people have done pretty well and done fine. But it hasn't caused people to do super well. Or just everybody to get all A's. And that is, I'm giving you 2 chances on the exam, and it's 40 questions, 60 minutes, 2 chances, and you get the highest of the 2. And so if you study the practice quizzes and take the exam seriously and do the first one and do the second one to the best of your ability, you should do pretty well, and also participating in the extra credit and those kinds of things. So Tim's, do we have to link our Gmail account, or did I just try to read the assignment too soon? You should have access to the main files, and if it doesn't let you, just request access, and just click request access, and I'll take care of it there. Jessica says, are there a lot of sessions at night like this, asking due to hours at work? There'll be sessions during the day sometimes and at night, primarily at night. They're not required. I do them optionally, and I record them to make them available to you all. So these are just additional support so that you have everything you can, and I can work with you real time to help you be successful in the class. So Mitchell, I got your question there. Caroline, there will be no groups. There'll be no group projects. You will be put in a group. You already have been. So if you click on people, you'll see what group you're in. And that's a group where you're going to post your discussion board assignment And I'm doing it in groups that you all can see each other, and I'll probably do some creative things, get you all talking to each other in the group, in your smaller group, so you're not seeing everybody in the class in one discussion board, but you're seeing a smaller group, and it makes it a little bit more intimate, makes it a little bit more manageable or enjoyable for you to connect with some other students on a regular basis in that smaller group. The exams are similar to the quizzes. Yes, they will be similar in style to the quizzes. One person asked about that. Some people have had the same problem as Mitchell getting access, so just request access. Tim says he switched to his cell phone. Can I hear him now? Let me see here. There's Tim.
I'm giving it a shot.
Hey, Tim. I hear you.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now. Welcome. Thanks for being available to chat live. What question do you bring tonight, Tim?
You know what? You already answered it, and I was just worried about the condensed version of this class, how manageable it's going to be with summertime and everything going on. But you used my anxiety. Thank you.
Yes, it's going to be, because when in the future it'll be at least 8 to 10 chapters, regardless of how many weeks. But right now I'm focusing on the top 6.
Well, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, on the integrity side of the class, making sure I'm doing what I need to be covering, these 6 are the most important core fundamental 6 concepts to cover, and we're going much deeper into them. So it is going to be still intense, but it'll be definitely manageable compared to 8 or 10 chapters.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Me too, and I'll be curious how it goes for you. Let me know as things go. I'm very interested in feedback and getting feedback from you all in the class. So I'll be setting up some sessions just to talk about how class is going and stuff like that. So thanks,
sure.
Tim, appreciate it. So as we go, I'll be asking you some more questions. I'll pause. And Tim, Bailey, and Mitchell, if you would please watch the chat room for me while I'm going through to see if there's themes in the questions that people are having. So let's go ahead and jump into looking at the class structure and really kind of making sure that you all have a sense of how it's going to flow. So if you go into modules, this is where everything is. So the calendar here and modules here, those are your 2 most important locations or places to be. And then if you come in here, you've got reviewing the syllabus, part 1 and 2, and then online office hours and webinars. And you can see here where you could register for the webinar tonight. When I'm done, I'm going to record. I'm going to take the recording, put it up, and I'll replace this with the recording. So you'll come back here and you can watch the recording. You can see there's 2 extra credits here. 1 for corrections and suggestions to the course on Canvas, anything. And then here is UStack, which is a student technology center, access center, or I'm forgetting what that is. Let me look here real quick. Assistance here. Okay, let's see here. Stack is right there. Student Technology Assistance Center, right. And so it's really a great place. You can learn, they'll help you with anything and everything that has to do with technology. And almost anything you ask, they'll help you with, primarily to help you with learning and your assignments and all your work and using technology at BGSU. But if you have any question, they're very good. They'll help you. Their job is to teach you and show you how to use the various technology. So coming back here, if we come back to modules, let's go in, just look at the overview of the class, and basically fundamentals of management, or the principles of management, really looks at the fundamentals of org theory, objectives, policies, decision-making, authority, management development, leadership, communication, human relations, management principles, and so forth. And this video is a pretty darn good video about people, and the class really does focus on that. And so with that, go back, and that's just an overview, quick kind of what is the class focused on. The next is the details. When you click on the details, let me walk you through and talk you through some of the details here for the class. And again, please feel free to ask questions as we go. And I'm really glad that you all are here, and thanks again for being very patient with us getting started. So first off, this is very important. Communicate with me via Canvas inbox. So don't send emails to skatie. In Canvas, there's the inbox. Send them to me there because that makes sure I can really catalog anybody who has questions. There's my other contact information, and I will hold online office hours. And as I mentioned before, I'll do them usually at night, sometimes at lunchtime, and I'll be doing them as needed. And I'll send out notices in advance. I might ask you how you all are doing. Do you need one, and that kind of thing. But when I have them, they're optional. They'll be recorded and they'll be made available for you. The materials for the class, you have assigned readings and they're in modular form. And like I said, I've streamlined the approach. I have 8 main chapters. Again, because we're in 6 weeks, I'm going to focus on the 6 most important chapters. There are no books. This is a book that's in the works. It's a digital book that I'm working on. And you get to have access to it for free, so you have no cost there related to textbooks for the class. And I'm going to actually ask you all to kind of join me sometimes to give some feedback on the materials and so forth, how to make it better for you all and how to make it work. So as you're reading through and you're seeing things that can make the book, the material better for you, more interesting, or other kinds of things, even grammatical or writing issues, please let me know, and I'm going to actually create a discussion board forum on that so that you can give me some feedback and get some extra credit for it. So again, that's the materials. And then when we look at the schedule, 6 weeks, this is our approach. We got the M00 module, M01, fundamentals in terms of getting started, and then opening up with the introductory chapter. The big thing is each module begins on Tuesday, and in our class, we're going to have M01 and M00 occurring right now, and they will finish on Monday of next week. So you need to finish M00 and M01 on Monday of next week, and there are due dates already provided for the discussion board forums. There's 2 discussion board forums, and there's an exam. And so you need to have that done by Monday. Then on Tuesday, Module 2 will start, and it will go from Tuesday through the following week, Monday. My reasoning for doing this is that it gives you the week to work. Some of you prefer to work on weekends. You might get most of it done by the weekend, but you have Monday to wrap up. If you cram it all in on Monday, sometimes that's possible. What I've seen is people don't do as well, but people get by. So you're just going to have to watch that and be careful and not put yourself in a difficult situation. Chip away at the different pieces, work at the module and the introduction, the Comp A, Comp B, Comp C, and the closure. Work through that. Work on your discussion board post, those kinds of things, and chip away at them every day and set your own schedule up. So that's the flow of the class, as I mentioned. It's organized into modules. And again, each module is like a chapter, and you have your introduction, then you have your competencies, and typically there is 2 to 4. And what you'll see is a principle. Each chapter is represented by a principle statement, which describes to you in general the concept that chapter is focusing on. It's a statement of what is and kind of an observation of that management topic. And then you go into the competencies. And competencies are directly related to what you need to do to be successful within the context of that particular topic. And so, and it's written in competency language because right now in management, in organizations, there's a big push and a big interest in people bringing competencies into the organization. So competencies are things that you can do that add value to the organization. And so for you to be clear about what you can do within the context of management in this course, in these 6 areas, and you being able to say, hey, look, when you hire me, bring me into your company, and this is particularly with the mindset that everybody's taking this class to help you get a promotion or to move into another career path or to get a great entry-level job, but everybody's taking this class as a part of a degree that's supposed to give you something next. And whatever that next is, my goal is that you have from this class the ability to describe what you can do and how you can add value to the organization. And a management course will give you the language, it will give you the competency tools, so that when you're speaking with someone in an interview, it will give you that opportunity to set yourself apart from other people. And so the way the course is flowed is it flows by module, which is a chapter, and you get that principal statement and those competencies, 2 to 4 per chapter or module that you work through. And so I'm looking over to see if there's any questions. Don't see any questions so far. And Tim and Mitchell and Bailey, I'm going to put you on the spot at some point to ask you what questions you have. So what you see here is the way the book is set up, and the course is set up, is that you start out with a case. It's innovators.com. Innovators.com is being written, and there are some scenes actually acted out. I'm working on having the different scenes acted out. But you're going to be able to read the script for a particular scene, a situation. And when you read that script or that scene, you imagine it as if you were a script writer or a movie writer or just someone reading a script. You imagine it. And someone asked, do we have to request access to every module? No, I'm just going to check out and see why it's happening that way. It doesn't happen for most people. I've done this a lot. So if there's something popping up for a lot of people, we'll work on that. But coming back to this, you're going to get the situation as a script, you imagine it, and then you're going to learn the content in that particular section of the chapter, and you're going to apply that content to the situation. In one situation, you're going to scan it. So in the opening, you're going to have a discussion board forum. You're going to review the situation. You kind of scan the situation and reflect on it within the context of the particular topic of that chapter. Then you move into the competency. So you move into the first competency of the chapter, and you get a challenge. You have a problem to solve. And then you're going to learn the content and actually apply it to solving the problem in the innovators.com organization. And then in the course of doing this, you'll be able to take practice quizzes on the content. You'll solve the challenges, and all of that will set you up for the exam and to do well. You'll have a discussion board forum. It will either occur at the beginning or at the end of the chapter. It will get you to reflect on what you're going to be doing in the chapter, or it'll get you to reflect on what happened, or somewhere in between asking you how you assess the situation, but also how you solved it, what you saw happening. So there'll be a discussion board forum for the chapter that kind of looks at the situation, looks at your own professional setting that you're in, whatever job you have now or jobs you've had, to apply the concept. So we'll be discussing your current jobs as well as the case study in the discussion board forum. And then you'll have a debrief. You'll get to see what happened in the case with all of the competencies being applied and the problems being solved successfully. What does it look like when things have been improved? And you'll evaluate the impact and see if you can see where the specific interventions improve the situation from the challenges that you reviewed. And that's all just a part of helping you practice, and then you take the exam, and there'll be a survey at the end. So with that, we go to the Canvas. There's a lot of things to help you save time. And you've got a variety of stuff from Stack to notifications. There's a lot of ways to set up notifications to be very convenient, from texting you every time something happens to a summary, email, those kinds of things. There's the gradebook. Here are some resources on how to get notifications around gradebook. Screenshots. If you have a problem with Canvas or a course, or you're having this problem, just take a quick screenshot and send it to me in the Canvas inbox, and that'll let me help you at least see the problem. The Canvas calendar, it is a really important guide for us. So I'll make sure everything is in the Canvas calendar. All the assignments are there so that you can make sure that you're up to speed on all that is due on the Canvas calendar. And there's help, and there's a lot of really good guides in the Canvas help. If you're not sure how to do something, go to that link and type in what you're looking for, and you'll get some good support from the Canvas help. It's a pretty good resource library. Setting up your Google account. If you don't have a Google account, set it up. It should help you with access to some of the stuff that's on Chrome and Google, and Canvas is integrated with Google now, so we're using Google a lot, so I think it'll be good for you to have that. You can use your BGSU email to create a Google account, or you can create your own. A lot of you already do have that. I mentioned innovators.com. You'll be jumping in with them, and you'll be facing situations and solving challenges within each chapter. Grading and requirements, it's very straightforward. You got to get starting set of tasks, that's 5% of the grade. Discussion forums, 25% of the grade. and 70% by module exams. There's going to be no peer evaluations there because you'll be in groups but posting individually and interacting individually, but the grade will be based on your individual post. So getting started, you got some stuff to review the course information, check out the extra credit, and then the Get Started section, and jump into Module 01 as well, Module 00 and 01. And the discussion board forums, as I mentioned, they will ask you to evaluate innovators.com in the case study, but also to apply the concepts to your personal or your professional setting that you're in right now, whatever you're working on or places you have worked. And so essentially, you will be graded on a scale of 1 to 3 points, and you'll be graded on how complete, professional, and thoughtful you are. When you look at the forums, you can see the rubric there that is used to grade you, and it gives you an outline of making sure that you're complete first. Complete means that you've answered all the questions and the sub-questions. Thoughtful means, or professional means that you've written professionally and you've laid things out properly and you've paid attention to your writing. And thoughtful means that you've elaborated and explained things. So one sentence answers will not work. Typically, and in the discussion board forum, I've actually got a little podcast in there that talks more specifically and gives you an example and so forth on what to post and what they need to look like. So it's just really important that you do that. The exams, 40 questions, 60 minutes, multiple choice, multiple answers, matching, ordering, true, false. They will draw a lot from the quizzes as well as from the situation, diagnosis and intervening of the situation that you'll be doing with the case study in each of the sections. And you'll get some additional questions that aren't quiz-like, that are deeper or a little bit more advanced questions to ensure that you're able to apply the concepts. And that really does build on what you're practicing with in the quizzes and so forth. So we got practice quizzes, as I mentioned. You'll see a variety of practice quizzes that you can take. And you need to get 4 out of 5 right in order to succeed at it. It's not required. I would suggest that you use them. They're right there next to the content. Read the content, try the quizzes, and see how you're doing. It's a great way to practice. And again, the quiz questions will show up on the exam, many of them. And then the last thing is extra credit. I'll give you lots of extra credit. And how this works is you simply will get extra credit opportunities. You'll get a total percentage in the extra credit, and that'll be a percentage of a grade bump or a letter grade bump. So it's not a grade like you should have an 80 or 90%. You might do a little bit of extra credit and get 5%. You might get 10%. Or something along those lines. That's great because if it'll bump you up to the next level, it bumps you up. It's not going to be calculated into your grade. I evaluate it at the end and then make adjustments at the end of the semester based on, does the extra credit bump you up to the next level? Workload and expectations, I've already talked about that already. There's 6 core chapters that we're focusing on with the 6-week course. These are the fundamental chapters. And so I think it's going to be a very manageable course for the summer for you. Once you get through the first module, you'll have a better idea. You get into the second one, you'll see that you'll see what it'll take for you to get through it. And you really want to make sure that you're chipping away every day at a little bit. And so a couple people are still having problem having access to a module. I'm not sure why some of you are, so just request access in there. So Mark, it says request access. Just click on that request access, and I'll give you access. I'm looking at it right now. I'm kind of opening up the email to see who all needs access. People should be getting access easily. It requires you to have Chrome a lot of times and to have the latest version of the browser. And so I'll check and see if there's a consistent issue there. Tim, Mitchell, and Bailey, if you all were you able to get access to the material? Tim, were you able to get access to the material in the class?
I was able to this morning. I'm going to click on it now just to make sure that I'm opening up exactly what everybody else is talking about. Opening it right now.
Mitchell, how about you? Are you able to get access?
No, I haven't been able to get access.
Did you request access?
Yep.
Okay. I'm clicking over on the email to check.
Yes, I'm able to get it. Yeah, I was able to get access earlier today and then this evening.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you
I
all
also have access to it.
What's that?
I'm sorry, I don't know if you're able to hear me or not, but I do have access now to. This is Tim Nelson.
Great. So Mitchell, you can't get access, correct?
Correct.
All right. So I'm gonna, for those of you, just request access. Mitchell, could you take a screenshot of not getting access and call, and I might even just do an IT extra credit for people who are having problems with Canvas and getting access to things. If you call IT and get them to help you get access and tell me what the solution is that they helped you, so we